Everyone, welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rody, and I just want to give you guys a quick announcement. As some of you may be wondering, where has London Beth been? London has decided to step away from Just Another Year for a short time due to personal reasons. We cannot thank London enough for the support and effort that he has given over the last 8 months, giving Bears content another view and a great amount of optimism and excitement. So overall, we are very excited for what London has in the upcoming future for him. We appreciate his time, and hopefully he will be back soon. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update. But with that, come over and check out our episode where we have a lot of information on Wednesday, September 29th, 2020. My name is Nick Rody. I am joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Sapita. And oh man, happy Wednesday. It's week 4 of the NFL season, and our Chicago Bears are taking on the Detroit Lions this Sunday at Soldier Field. Who's starting? Who's calling plays? Who's playing? Should we win? What do we think? Are the Bears moving Arlington Heights? Oh my goodness, we have a lot to go over today. The Chicago Bears will potentially have a new home in the next 5 years. We're very excited to share that. But today we will be focusing mainly on the opponent this upcoming weekend, division rival, the Detroit Lions. But before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray.
Stupid Car Tray saves the day. Great for keeping your seat safe from grease and crumbs, pizza level and secure. And while sitting on the couch, while you're watching the Bears play the Lions, beat the Lions, hopefully, use code J16 JAY16 at checkout to get 60% off the entire order.
So I don't know if we want the Bears to win this week. And let me just quick disclaimer why. So the Bears have a 1-2 record, tied for second place with the Vikings in the division, while the Lions are 0-3. Though the Lions have actually played very good teams. They've offensively done pretty well, but their defense is horrible. So we're just putting that out there real fast. Rumor has it, and the reason why we might want the Bears to actually lose this upcoming Sunday. The Bears fan in me wants them to win, obviously, but strategy and for the future and hope of this team is that rumor has it that Matt Nagy loses this Sunday against the Detroit Lions. He will be fired. He will become the first Bears head coach in the middle of the season to be fired in the middle of the season. Will it actually happen? We don't know. It's just a rumor floating around Hallis Hall and externally right now, so more to come on that. Couple of things that we want to bring up before we jump into the Lions this week. The Chicago Bears tried out 3 quarterbacks this week so far. No, none of them are Tony Sapita, so the Bears are not looking at anyone good. Jake Dogala, Ryan Willis, and Peyton Ramsey. No, not related to Jalen Johnson in any way. So no, that is also not Darnell Mooney's son. Andy Dalton is the QB1 moving forward if fully healthy. So more to come on that Sunday. So we'll see who's going to be the starter. We'll know more on our Friday podcast. But he is fully able to be in practice. They're going to put him in slowly. But Andy Dalton is progressively getting better. So that's good news to hear. Same with Justin Fields as well. But it's going Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, Nick Foles on the quarterback depth chart when Andy Dalton is healthy. Matt Nagy just had a press conference earlier today. Literally, Tony and I waited to record this in order to get all the information from it. And we were hoping that he was going to announce that who the play caller was. And it was all that was talked about was that the play caller this week for the Chicago Bears is being kept internally. There is no confirmation of Bill Lazor or Matt Nagy calling the plays. So, of course, the most Matt Nagy press conference ever. Tony, your initial reaction when he said that I threw my hat on the ground, but your initial reaction.
You know, I wasn't surprised. It was just such a classic. I was hoping things were different. That's a totally different thing. But he just gave us the classic runaround where it's, oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what, you guys want to hear. I know exactly who the play caller is going to be, and I'm not going to tell you. And yeah, we had conversation. We had all the conversation in the world. Oh, we learned, we grew, we did this, we did that. But I can't tell you guys about that. I'm sorry. I hope you understand. It's gamesmanship. It's strategy. I guess, obviously, I normally accept an answer, but that was not the answer you, or, the entire world was looking for today. So that's all I got to say on that.
I'm just putting my head in my hands because it was the most Matt Nagy answer ever. Like, I don't know what this guy does, what type of witchcraft he does, for the whole 100-mile radius of Chicago. But everyone's like, yes, he's going to say something we actually want to hear. And then, of course, it's the exact response that we knew deep down that our gut was saying was going to be the reaction. So, yep, he's keeping it internal. We don't know who's calling plays, but we'll definitely be able to tell if it's not a draw or a slant every single time. So that's that. But And other good news for the Chicago Bears signed a PSA for the Arlington racetrack in Arlington Heights, Illinois. That is 14 miles away from Soldier Field. So no, it is not drastically. They are not going to switch their name from the Chicago Bears to the Arlington Heights Bears. No, I'll just throw that out the window. That would be the dumbest thing ever for the Chicago Bears to do. Just to put it in clarity, the San Francisco 49ers play 2 hours away from San Francisco, and they still call themselves the San Francisco 49ers. So the Bears are not changing their names. Just want to put that out there. But very exciting that they could be having a new home within the next 5 years. Arlington Racetrack was purchased for $197.2 million by the Chicago Bears on the signed PSA. It is not confirmed. The closing date will be in late 2022 or early 2023. So that gives the Bears time to get architectural designs, work with, permitting for with the city. I know it's a village, but really Arlington Heights is a city now. Tony and I can testify to that. If you haven't been to Arlington Heights lately, highly suggest it. It's a great time over there. The purpose is to create a larger state-of-the-art stadium, and that's why the Bears want to move out there. Also, it helps with transportation options. There's 2 metros that go right there. One goes directly outside of Arlington Racetrack. You have 2 major highways next to it. You're 15 minutes from O'Hare Airport. I mean, overall, it's just, and also the Bears have full ownership of the stadium. They currently lease it from the city of Chicago, Soldier Field. That goes through 2023. This will not happen again until at least 2026. The Bears have to pay $84 million to the city of Chicago if they leave in 2026, when their lease is supposed to end in 2033. So, Tony, initial reaction when you heard that the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights, or potentially moving to Arlington Heights?
Yes, of course. Potentially, yes. Who knows? I was laying in bed and just a friend texted me and just said, Bears Arlington Heights. It's like, what? Check Twitter. It was legit. They will not change their name to the Arlington Bears. You were right, because I mean, there's literally an NFL team that plays in a city called Arlington that is still named the Dallas Cowboys. The New York teams literally play in a different state. No need to worry about that, everyone. It makes sense. It just really does. It's cool. The skyline, on like the primetime games we get blown out in. It's awesome to see the skyline behind us. But at the same time, it is such a nightmare getting down there. They're really, especially with the city, the whole thing is you can't build out. You can only build up, which they kind of did, but made the stadium smaller. It makes sense for a fresh start. We're going to get a Super Bowl probably that first year it's open. That's what happens in LA. That's what's happening in Las Vegas. They push that back because of COVID and stuff. But overall, I think it makes perfect sense. And it's close to me, so maybe I'm biased. But overall, good decision. Kind of interesting that they decided to drop it this week. I think there is maybe it's because Arlington was closing this after this weekend. That might be part of it, waiting till that's done. But it was interesting timing. That's what I think.
And also the fact that there was complete outrage the last 3 days over Matt Nagy. So they had to give the Bears fans something to be like, oh, sweet. That's great. So, yeah, I'm all pumped about it. I live only 15 minutes away from Arlington Heights right now. It's, it's a great location. Probably that's where I'm going to end up next. The goal is to become a Bears season ticket holder when that new stadium opens up. More to come on that in 5 years. So stay tuned for 5 years, folks. But let's go into the Lions. That's what this is all about. The Bears play the Detroit Lions this upcoming Sunday at Soldier Field. The Bears still play there, folks. Don't worry about it. There's a couple more years while they still play there at noon, on the lake against the division rival. Injuries coming on to this game. Andy Dalton is still nursing that knee injury, but is practicing today. Justin Fields is still nursing that hand injury. Again, it was negative, nothing serious. He is likely able to play if needed. Khalil Mack's foot injury, there has been no confirmation on that yet. Matt Nagy didn't even say it in his press conference. All he said, he would release it today after practice. Eddie Goldman, no confirmation yet. Larry Borom, no confirmation yet. And Tevin Jenkins, no confirmation yet. But returning is Danny Trevathan. He is on his 3-week scheduled return for the Chicago Bears. So he will start getting reps this week at practice, may even get some in-game reps. So more to come onto that. So let's go into what the offenses look like for the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. I don't really have to say much about the Bears. They're overall the last in offense in the league, 20th in rushing, 32nd in passing. The Lions, though, are ranked 17th overall with 14th in rushing, 14th in passing. The only reason why they're ranked 17th is because of the amount of points that they give up. So overall, the Bears offense is going against a very different Detroit style defense. So before we get into the breakdown exactly how the Bears offense can do against this Detroit Lions defense, Tony, with the play calling being unknown, do you see the Bears stats rising even a little bit, or do you feel like it's going to be the same as Cleveland last week?
it'll be better because of the nature of the opponent they were playing, just like the weaker opponent. However, I think it's just still Matt Nagy. I think he just doesn't want to, commit either way because it's a huge story. If it's Bill Lazor taking over or if there's someone else that could possibly be a candidate. And if it's Matt Nagy, it's going to be even harder. Fire Nagy. What I do think is interesting about it, though, I do think that Justin Fields starts this game still because our guy, Pro Football Doc, my apologies, he is sticking to his guns. I just saw his tweet. He said that he does not believe Andy Dalton will be physically fit to play in this game still. So that's what I'm going to go off of because that's the only shred of hope I have left with this team. But yeah, no, I think we'll do better.
So no Nick Foles still? No Nick Foles?
No Nick Foles. It can't be unless Justin Fields' hand is worse than we think. There's no way. I mean,
only
he would
Foles.
have to be fired unless Nick Foles had that Super Bowl level performance again, or whoever else, if it was at the Vikings or something in the playoffs too, where they just blew him out. Unless he does something like that, like you'd have to fire Nagy. You'd have to fire Ryan Pace. So I think Justin Fields.
So going into that, the Bears offense is going against a defense that the easiest defense they've faced this season so far with the Detroit Lions. They are ranked 22nd overall, according to ESPN stats. The Lions also just released veteran linebacker Jamie Collins, one of Detroit's best defensive players last year. Collins wanted to get traded out of Detroit. They could not find someone to suit him, so they just released him. Collins got $8 million guaranteed from the Detroit Lions, walked away, literally took his money and could go sign with any team that he wants at any point in time. So that is a big, big factor for the Chicago Bears defense. Offense hopefully can give them some hope. They're not the best run defense either. We'll get into that in a second. I mean, they're definitely better than their pass. Detroit's one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. So, if whether that be Nick Foles, whether it be Andy Dalton, or whether it be Justin Fields starting for the Chicago Bears this week, there is a lot less chance of them giving pressure to the quarterback. You cannot let Detroit give pressure to the quarterback, and the Bears could rip it up. Hopefully this gives them the confidence, playing two bad teams, starting at home. Bears could walk out of this game 2-2. We don't know yet. So let's go into the defense really fast because that is what's really important to this game, and that's what's been carrying the Chicago Bears this season. Detroit defensive rankings so far this year, they are ranked 15th against the rush. They are ranked 25th against the pass. There are only 32 teams in the league, just to put that into perspective. And overall, they are ranked 22nd in the league defensively. So the Bears defense, on the other hand, again, going against, a Detroit offense that's ranked, 17th, so in the middle of the pack. Overall, the Bears are ranked 12th still, even after playing on the field for 2/3 of the game, almost every single game. They have the 20th ranked rush. That is against, especially when Kareem Hunt just ripped it up against the Chicago Bears last week, and 11th against the pass. So they're not doing too bad against the pass. Again, this would be much better if the Bears weren't spending most of the time on the field. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb racked up over 215 rushing yards against the Chicago Bears last week. That is why the Bears dropped significantly in the rankings. They could be a lot better. So, Tony, in regards to that, do you think that this Bears defense is going to continue to have to carry the team against Detroit, or do you think the offense is going to be able to take some of the blows for them?
I think, like I said a little earlier, I think it will be a better game for the offense. I think their backs are against the wall. Matt Nagy's back is against the wall. I do think, just in general, it can't get worse than what it was last week. And like we said too, I like Jared Goff. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a wonderful person. However, I don't think he won't do as well as Baker. He won't do, their running backs, DeAndre Swift stuff won't do as well as, just the dynamic duo of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So I think it will be a little easier for the defense, and I think the offense will step up a bit and actually maybe score a touchdown this week. Who knows?
Who knows? But I would not mind the defense scoring another touchdown at home this week. I mean, absolutely. There's no denial of that. The 12th ranked defense against the 17th ranked offense, it's going to be a good matchup. But, here's the Lions' keys on offense that I just want to throw out there really fast. Jared Goff has 801 passing yards through 3 games with 5 touchdowns and 2 INTs. Jared Goff's not doing that bad in Detroit. A lot of people thought that was going to be, the knife that just ruined his career going to Detroit. He's not doing too bad in regards to that. So can't hate on him there. Also, the Lions tight end, TJ Hawkinson, is really starting to rip it up. He's one of the up-and-coming tight ends in the league. He's used a lot in this offense. He's got 2 of Goff's 5 touchdowns. So very important, very, very important. Tony, what is one key area of need before we go into our 3 keys of the game? What do the Bears defense need to do against the Detroit Lions in order to make them, not have any success against this Bears defense?
Tackling. I know it's so sad that we like most of our like keys for everything is just fundamentals, but that truly is. They just got tackled because DeAndre Swift's a hard guy to take down. Like you said, TJ Hockenson, that's a big boy. That's a big boy that is athletic. You saw probably if you guys were watching the Monday night game, that amazing catch he had the back corner of the end zone. Obviously that doesn't factor into the tackling, but it's just making sure that these guys aren't getting all these extra yards that then eventually pile up and then puts the offense, who is already terrible, in bad field position. I put that in quotes because literally anything behind the 50-yard line they will treat as bad field position. But just the tackling, just fundamentals, pure fundamentals, please. They did a lot better, obviously, this last week. Last week was tough, and they did okay against the Bengals, but that tackling is still, it's still kind of rough.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Eddie Jackson just kind of come on, man. You're paid so much money. And he had his redemption game against the Bengals. Everyone's like, oh, Eddie Jackson's back. And then Eddie Jackson probably was like, all right, I'm still getting paid a lot of money. I don't have to do this again because I gained everyone's trust back. No, Eddie Jackson, you got to do it game in and game out. That's just what it is. So, Tony, let's go to 3 keys of the game. I'm going to let you start this one off. So, Tony, in regards to beating the Lions, after all the stats, all the rankings and everything, what are the 3 keys in order to beat the Detroit Lions this week against the Chicago Bears?
Of course, yeah. So my number 1 is run the ball. Right, establish
I'm sorry. The Bears to beat the Detroit Lions. I totally boggled that one.
Gee, I just assumed that's what you said. I blew right over my head.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Run the ball. We got to establish the run. It's only 13 runs last week. And it just, and maybe the reason was they just really couldn't get it going. They couldn't get past that defensive line. You can do that with the Lions. You can get past their defensive line. You can scheme these guys open, and I'll get to that. My next scheme-related key point in a second. But you just got to pull some tackles out. Oh my gosh, that one play we talked about where there was 2 guys lined up on the right side, lined up man-to-man on the guard of the tackle. You could have easily ran that play outside to the right, and you just had to beat him 2 yards to the first. Like, it just run the ball normal. Sorry, that's how I should say it. Run the ball normal. Don't do these crazy plays. Run the ball normal. That's all. Again, fundamentals, fundamental football. That's what we need. So number 2 key to the game is scheme for your quarterback, please. I don't care if it's Dalton. I don't care if it's Fields. I would care if it's Nick Foles, but even if it is, scheme for your quarterback. With Dalton, we saw week 1. I know we ended up getting embarrassed by the Rams. Got the ball out quick. That's how you kind of defeat your you fight against your bad offensive line and kind of and any sort of pressure. If it's Justin Fields, roll him out, get him moving. Don't let him be a sitting duck in the pocket there. And again, hopefully that won't matter because I know, Nick, you're going to talk about the offensive line, but it's important. Scheme your quarterback open. Do what you can to help him instead of him bailing you out, Matt Nagy. My number 3 key, final key, tight end. Use a tight end. Again, fundamental football. Use a tight end. You brought Jimmy Graham back. It doesn't even have to be Cole Kmet. You can save Cole Kmet for next week. I don't care. You brought Jimmy Graham back. You said, oh, this is the guy. We're going to use cap space on this. And that's fine. As long as you use him. He's a big guy. Just throw it up to him. Let him jump for it. Doesn't matter. It's crazy that we're teaching the Bears how to play football. So, Nick, what are your 3 keys?
Yeah, well, Tony, I just want to make it known. You did not even get the call to become, the 3rd string quarterback for the Chicago Bears this week. So clearly we have to teach the Bears a thing or two. But my 3 3 keys to the game: block, block, block. Please, the offensive line, for the love of God. Jason Peters and Jermaine Ifedi. You guys were the top-ranked tackles after week 2 against the Bengals, and your stock dropped so bad after week 3 against the Browns. It was horrendous. You need to get some sort of trust back in these Bears fans, because Bears fans, we lose our trust very, very quickly. I mean, look at this. Look how we were excited about Matt Nagy's press conference today. That's just what I have to say to that. So you need to give time to whoever the Bears quarterback is this upcoming Sunday. I personally want it to be Andy Dalton. I know a lot of people are going to come on, Fields just was put in a bad position. If there is no confirmation that Bill Lazor is calling the plays against the Detroit Lions, why would I want Justin Fields out there again? Seriously, why would I want him out there again? Put Andy Dalton out there, because guess what Andy Dalton does? He switches the play up. He doesn't listen to Matt Nagy. He makes things happen. Justin Fields is a rookie. Obviously doesn't want to tick off coaches. He doesn't have the ability to do that yet. So, I think it's a better option. But if Andy Dalton's not good to go, Andy Dalton's not good to go. Key point number 2 for me: have the wide receivers spread out the field. Holy Lord, even the tight ends, I don't care. Just for the love of God, you need to throw someone downfield 50 yards. You need to spread out that defense, because if everyone's clumped in one small area within 10 yards and you're running a slant play, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be an interception. There's going to be a pass deflection. Everyone's going to rush the ball because the defense is going to figure that out. That is exactly what Myles Garrett said in his press conference after the Bears-Browns game. And he said that it was so easy to predict because it was the same play every single time. Shout out Matt Nagy. I am heated right now. Let's go to number three. Third key game of the game. Tackle for the love of God, Eddie Jackson. Stop shouldering people. Stop being a wimp. Go out there. You are a big guy. You're a professional football player. Throw your body at it. Tackle around the hips. That's all I got to say. Don't kind of do the shoulder thing and then act all tough after when you shove someone out of bounds because you just gave up a 50-yard play. All I have to say to that to my three keys of the game. I'm going to take a deep breath there. Tony, anything else that you want to hit on before we log off today?
I just wanted to agree with you real quick on the spread the field with the wide receivers. Like we said in our post game thing, thanks everyone for watching that. By the way, that was, you guys were awesome in the comments. That one deep ball that we threw ended up being pass interference, but yards are yards. It worked. We're like 1 for 1 now on deep balls, even though it wasn't completion. We were 1 for 1 for it working. Just try it one more time, maybe minimum one more time. That's all I ask.
Oh man. Well, I don't even know what to say anymore. Just the Matt Nagy media, my whole day is ruined after that. So, put your comments in below what you think about the Chicago Bears, what they need to do against the Detroit Lions in order to beat them this Sunday at Soldier Field. And overall, just what do you think about Matt Nagy's press conference? I honestly think, and I tweeted it out, I think that was the most watched press conference ever in Chicago Bears history. Obviously, there hasn't been a lot of social media or anything till the last 15, 20 years, but holy cow, I feel like everyone and their mother was logged into that. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Cepeda, and we will see you guys next time.